All right, welcome again to the AM show. Let's delve into the news review segment, but starting with what the papers are reporting. Let's start with the Chronicle newspaper today and the banner headline: Dombo family backs Brian. You know, Brian Achampo was in Wale Wale recently to campaign as he still is on his journey seeking to be elected as flag bearer of the NPP for the 2028 election. And that took him to Wale Wale, where we understand Dombo family backed him by presenting some fugu to him. So get details of that story on page 2 and 3. But what does that also mean, for Dr. Bamia? Because this is his backyard. Get details of that there. Former MPs mount pressure on government for salary arrears. And I'm sure you know this man, IKJC, the grammarian, passes on. That's a sad one there. Let's do other papers now. And the Ghanaian Times banner headline: ensuring examination credibility, strict invigilation won't be compromised. President Mahama, he said this at the NAT Congress, which is underway. And he says that over the past years, some batches of SHS students were deliberately aided to cheat just to give them a good picture. But he says that wasn't good, and that this is not something that he's going to support. He would ensure that he supports the teachers to prepare the student well for the examination, but there will be strict, invigilation to ensure that quality is not compromised. So that is what is on, in the Ghanaian Times, and I check details on page 12 of that paper. Passengers stranded in Accra, no buses to convey travelers as work, school resume. Okay, so let's see. It comes with a photograph of stranded passengers traveling to Takoradi and Cape Coast at Kaneshi. If you have some buses, this is now time for you to put them on the road. And today, we understand Otufo will be paying a historic visit to the IGP at the police headquarters in Accra. So you would have to watch out for that, but get details on page 11 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Insight: SMG condemns U.S. aggression against Venezuela. And yesterday I watched a video of the son of the Venezuelan president making a passionate appeal, to the people of Venezuela to support his father. And he said, you'll be back in Venezuela very soon to meet up with the boys. SMG is condemning the U.S. aggression there. Ghana worried over U.S. military invasion over Venezuela, calls for release of Maduro. I'm sure you've read that statement from the Foreign Affairs Minister. Again, Adam GH drags third term bid to Supreme Court for interpretation. Oh, really? That's an interesting one. What will the Supreme Court say on that one? Page 6 and 7 has details. And Mamprogo Traditional Council slams removal of... let me just end it there. Economic stability boost auto business as inflation drops, says Erata Motors CEO. So that is for the Insights. Let's do other papers now. Let's check out, I think, the Catalyst newspaper. Okay, good. Now, CD ranks second best currency in the world in 2025. Good board fueled rally transforms Ghana's economy, setting a new model for Africa. So those are the stories in the Catalyst as well. Get a Catalyst and get details of those stories. Well, that's it there. Daily Guide: top clergy endorse Ken A. Japan. And that's when I think he attended the 31st church service of, okay, I've forgotten this Reverend Minister, but when I said that top clergy endorses Ken A. Japan, it's on page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. $240 million gold purchase laws. Gold board fights back. They've been explaining why this is not on their neck. Brian takes over Wale Wale, receives rousing welcome. Frank Edu is Zen Petroleum new board chair. And you know this man for what he did in the banking space. And Reverend Wengam calls for patriotic citizens. You and I, we need to be patriotic. Well, let's do myjoyonline.com. Speed up as people are losing hope. Domlevo presses AG on corruption cases. All right. a year without big scandals, and the new Mahama government could shift corruption perception, Domilevo says. And managing power without retaliation is Ghana's real test, Professor Ajimandia says. I mean, let's end it there and rather go join my guest there. But on Zoom today, we're being joined by Dr. Ekua Amoakoh. She's Deputy Spokesperson for the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team. And in studio, I am joined by Musa Dankwa. He is Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And I also have Dr. Julius Kwekukata. He is a chartered economist and a member of the NDC's National Communications team. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope all is well.
I'm fine.
Okay.
How are you too?
I'm well. Again.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns to you. Ekua Amoakoh is with us on Zoom. Ekua, good morning to you. Oh, I guess you have to unmute, Ekua.
My bad.
Yeah.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you and all your lovely viewers this morning. I hope everybody had a good weekend.
We did. I was expecting to see you in studio live. Today you are doing Zoom.
Charlie, it's not easy. You know, we are still doing the Greater Accra Regional campaign. So,
it shall be well.
The timing is very tight.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining. Anyway, let's start off with this one. Strict invigilation won't be compromised. President Mahama. And he seeks to draw in the fact that in the past, some students were allowed to cheat just for them to look good. He says, the story says, he noted that cheating in examination at senior high school level, particularly over some years now, was deliberate to, quote and unquote, embellish the performance of certain batches of graduates to make some people look good. That approach, President Mahama emphasized, has been exposed by the poor results of the 2025 batch, where nearly half of the 446,352 candidates who sat for WASI failed the core subject of mathematics, general science, and social studies. Let's start from there. Mr. Dangwa.
You know, we've had issues of exam malpractice for many years, but I don't think it's been this profound until recent times. I remember when we were in school together, Paul, you will not even, you will not get it. But it became so open secret that people are buying a poll in recent times and writing exams and passing because of that. And my very good friend Kofi Asari, Educational Watch, or Edu Watch, has been complaining about this for some time. And when it comes to educational matters, I always refer to Kofi Asari. Look, we've gotten to a point where people or students were prepared just to pass exams, not to learn things. And that's why when they come out of school, they can think outside the box, but they were just prepared to pass the exams. They were given the guidelines as to what questions will come, these are the kind of questions that will come, and this is how you should write your response, and we were passing out of, from that. And I think there was another exposure when they migrate into the universities, where they become a liability at the universities, they can't comprehend basic things. And it's not something that we can sustain. We need to really get a grip on that, and we need to make sure that people are educated, not just taught to pass the exams. It's worrying. If that trend continues, I think we would pay a heavy price for it down the line.
But really, is it down to, the performance we saw in the past, is it all down to, say, allowing students to cheat in exams?
I think there are so many factors that account for the cheating. If they haven't got the basics of learning, there are no materials to learn. The time given to them to learn is very short. They can't achieve that much. Then it becomes a reason for them to cheat and not to pass. So the cheating alone didn't start from just cheating. It's because the system had failed.
Okay.
And they don't want to go out without a grade that they can't take to universities. So they devise ways and means to get through to university. But unfortunately, it really affects their ability to comprehend issues at the tertiary level. So hopefully we're not just going to stop the cheating, but make resources available at the schools so teachers can have what they need to teach. The textbooks should be there. The time that the students must have with teachers should be enough engagement. And above all, I think conducive atmosphere in the schools are important to ensure that people pass well.
But okay, you are a lecturer. I mean, when it comes to the school environment, and Musa Danko says that preparing the student itself, a lot of them were just prepared to do it, to pass exams. But how do we correct that? And how did we get there?
First of all, thank you very much. I would like to take the opportunity and the platform to greet all the NDC fraternity, especially the NEC, the executives of the party, as well as the frat bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. I would applaud him for coming out boldly to make this statement. I always say that I'm coming from a background of an educationist, and I believe that those who know me very well knows that my brothers and sisters are all professors, educationists, and all that. And Kofi Asare, he knows. What happened is that the education doesn't come from only in the schools. The education begins at home. The kind of teaching that your parents and your relatives give you entails on what you are going to achieve in formal education as well. And the first thing that I learned is humility. The second thing that I learned from home is discipline. I don't remember the day where my parents had the opportunity to back me when I'm doing the wrong thing. They always have to put you on your toes. That also translates to public encounters. And the core of it is the discipline. Now, we are seeing changes in educational formalities because some interference are coming from parents as well, where parents want the quick way of their children to, reach the highest height. It's also not the best. Within the education, there are times for every stage. If we don't observe those times that are needed for us to go through the processes of learning, and the curve goes up and come down. Because definitely the learning curve says that the rich and the poor can meet. We assume that because it's only the rich who have the opportunity to go to school, and Lentio curve describes that. I would say that, to be honest with you, we need to institutionalize discipline in our schools. We need to provide logistics for the schools. We need to have timely counseling of the student at every stage, even from kindergarten. The way you mold the child, the way you talk to the child is also very important. And that translates into not doing this kind of examination teaching. I remember very well that one time at the mission school in St. Mary's Seminary Secondary School, while I was in Form 4, I got out silence hour where we do private reading. Got out and then speak outside. The priest was coming and saw me and he said, "No, you come at this time, stand up from your decks." He gave me 6 lectures, straight away. And that made me not to disobey the silence hour from that time till I finished the school. So it's clear that if you don't have discipline, you can't make it. And I made it at the end of the day when I went to Form 5 O-level. So I'm pleading that parents should have patience. Sometimes the teachers are trained to handle the students to pass their exams. And I want to remind the student that even if you quickly pass your exams and you get to the world of thinking, where the real practical things happen, where you have to reason and find solution to problems, you'll be found wanting. So take your time, read your books, be studious enough to be able to pass through the examinations. And the examinations are not meant to fail you. They are meant to strengthen you, the capacity of you thinking, the logic behind the exams, you need to know the tricks. So buying papers, examination questions, and giving it to the child to pass the exam, you spoil the child completely. He goes into public domain, handle public office, he'll still do the same thing. And that will see so many corruptions happening at the end of the day. The end of the result is that corruption becomes the canker we are having because people want quick ways. And the quick ways are not quick ways. They are dangerous ways. It's a poisonous way destroying humanity at the level of capital development, human capital development. And that is what I see. Yeah.
Let me bring in Dr. Ekua Amoakoh here. Doc, this is a session by the president. What do you make of it?
I'll come to that. But before, when you were going through the headlines, I saw a headline on Chronicle saying Dombo's back by Nechampong when it happened in Wale Wale.
Yeah.
I'm reluctantly informed by the family that nothing like that has happened. The Dombo family is from Jirapa Dwori in Upper West. So I don't know how somebody in Wale Wale is supposedly endorsing Brian. So I'm pretty sure the family will release an official statement.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, journalists, let's just be more circumspect with what we do. But I'm sure the family would handle that from their end. Anyway, to this issue of education, I have always been of the position that we should reduce the amount of politicking we do, especially when it comes to education, health, critical things for nation building. Because I was just sitting here while, listening to what the president said and what's going on. And I wanted to check the rate of failure in 2024. I'm seeing about like an average of 10.4%. Then I'm seeing the rate of, malpractice. Then the rate of malpractice from a simple Google search for 2025 is 9.75. So it's not been a significant reduction. So this all started because the NDC started a propaganda to try and dirty free SHS. That's the good outcomes that were coming out of free SHS was a result of some deliberate attempts by the government to institutionalize cheating. Can you imagine that a line like that was even sold to the people of Ghana? It was just completely irresponsible. So is the president and now the NDC trying to tell us that next year or a year after, when the results are a little better, it is because they also allow the students to cheat. I mean, let's get above this pettiness. There's a reason to instill discipline in students, all of that, but it should be done away from this chaos of politics, where everything becomes a propaganda tool. Because again, let me just repeat that question again, and we can make the notes today. Next year or the year after, if the results increase, is the NDC going to tell us that now they've allowed the students to cheat? That's why they passed.
Well, they probably will say that now the teaching and learning is effective.
So you see the spin, because the MPP's president, His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, has instituted free SHS that had helped a lot of patients and was affecting the political fortunes of the NDC. They had to find a way to make free SHS terrible. Let me even come to number two. They haven't, even the NDC is not claiming that they've cancelled this double track or the transitional system they are doing. It's even in their budgets that they plan to be able to finish that somewhere in 2027 or the end of 2026. So what have they done in this 1 year to significantly improve, to change what they inherited to improve the outcomes? I don't know if you get where I'm coming from, to be able to make that assertion boldly. This is just a continuation of propaganda that they started in opposition, that now it's holding them by their own ankles. So we are going to wait for them and see how they are going to respond next year, the year after, or even in their last year in office, when by some means the students improve. The focus, especially for any government, is to create a very robust education system that is free and almost equitable to all. That was that's why we're very proud of the initiative that was started, because it sort of removed the cost barrier to secondary education and made it easy for everybody to sort of have access to that education. Even on the back of that, patriotic Ghanaians, almost experts, supposed experts in the field, found it right to nobody's saying don't criticize it, but there was almost a deliberate attempt to dirty that policy so much because it was seen as a flagship policy of the MPP. I'm hoping that we can go above such things. And like I always say, leave the excessive politicking out of education, health, things that we should all have reach some consensus on so that we can have some growth and development as a country. Because to me, this is really neither here nor there.
But you don't agree with the assertion that there was so much examination malpractice during the period. I mean, teachers aiding students to write their exams, past questions being bought for students.
Kojo, I don't think the time you went to secondary school was so far off. But I'm sure there were books of past questions books, because I mean, when I was in school, I was an avid past questions reader. There are books of past questions from the time that I was SSC, and it was an essential kit to any person that was taking the WASI serious. So let's not sit here and pretend like providing past questions to students is a crime or constitutes some malpractice. Number two, from just a simple check this morning, there's numbers, the statistics for examination malpractice from 2024 to 2025 is not that remarkably different to sort of warrant the position that they are trying to push. I would like to see some data to the contrary, then we can have that conversation, because what the WAEC is putting out themselves, obviously WAEC as a body would always try to strengthen whatever processes they have to ensure that the examination process is fair, and we should always commend and applaud that. But let's not add propaganda value to that.
Okay, now as part of the conference, the president also says 100 schools that were running the shift system have reverted to single shift, with 30 Category C schools earmarked to be upgraded to Category B for enhanced teaching and learning. Moreover, on basic education, President Mahama said procurement was underway for 2 million steel door desks to permanently end the pitiful sight of children sitting on stones or lying on their bellies to read or write. He said 200 classroom blocks each for kindergarten, primary, and junior high schools were also to be constructed this year to enhance accessibility. Quote, I pledge that we'll work with you, the teacher associations, to achieve these reforms, unquote. And he also talks about their salaries that will be increased and all of that. Ekua, I'll come back to you, but let me start from Dr. Carter, because you're a teacher. I mean, you listen to the fact that all of these things are being done together with the promise that the single spine will be increased for teachers. Is there believability in this, looking at where we are as a country?
The question again, is there
believability? I mean, we are buying 2 million steel desks. He says procurement is underway. We'll construct 200 classroom blocks. Teachers' salaries will be increased and all of that. Well, you remember some 60,000 or so unpaid teachers yesterday also did a press conference calling on government to pay them, else they hit the street or they go on strike.
I would say that the president, in his wisdom, has, John Dramani Mahama, has the authority to spell out and give out the problems that are hitting the country. One thing that we should know is that the president cannot come out just because he wants to make a political propaganda. I'm firm and I'm constructive that the decision that he has taken has been consulted in all stakeholders that are responsible to help him achieve these goals. That is why he made a statement. And I will emphatically say that we are holding accountability to the people of this country since the inception of this particular victory. When we started this victory, before we even started, we have the belief that whatever we say and whatever we want to do as a party, we're going to do it and get it done. That is why I am firm that the president will not disappoint the people of Ghana. Now, if there are if there are some who could not benefit from salary increase or other things, and they are coming out, there are appropriate channels that are supposed to be followed for them to put their grievances across so that solutions can be found. It's not only hitting the street, which is the issue. The channels are there for them to follow. If they follow the channels, and made the government to know. The Minister for Education is a flexible person. He knows, he has an open door policy. They can discuss that, and solutions will be found to that. And I believe that we are working. We are not sitting down.
But for a year, these teachers are crying over unpaid salaries.
You should know that the inequalities in teachers' salary and also other sectors in the economy are huge. And you know, there are no funds. Let me tell you, to be honest with you, when we inherited a very terrible economy. And for 1 year, we are solving the economic problems. And it cannot take a year to solve all the problems. That's why the president is assuring at this forum, this big forum, that, look, I will do A, B, C, D for the interest of progress of education in this country. And that is exactly what it is. And we are fully behind him for achieving this purpose. So we are not just saying it. It's not rhetoric. We are really on our journey to make sure that every little thing that we say, we do it. And you can see from the records for 1 year now, things that we have said economically we want to do. Inflation, we're going to do it. We did it. You understand? Tax, we did it. So basically, I just want to tell you that the president has the strong belief that he has a support base to be able to get these things done.
Yeah.
And we will put the necessary measures in place and discipline in place to make sure that it's done and done well for Ghanaians to be satisfied.
Okay. But my question was, when the president is saying all of this, and we have over 60,000 teachers also saying we've not been paid for 11 months, more than, and that you need to pay us, how does that invoke believability in what he's saying, especially when it comes to, you know, the reviewing the single spine to ensure teachers are paid well? Some 60,000 teachers have not been paid in that space.
Please, we inherited some debts. When I say debt, not only in the national sovereign debt, I mean, there are some problems there already in terms of education. There are problems there. I will not say that there are no problems. But what I'm saying is that gradually we are solving the problems one by one. When it comes up, there are channels where the 60,000 people who have not been paid or their salary has not been increased, there are channels that we have to follow. And excuse me to say, I'm sure that the 60,000 people who have not been able to get their benefit are pushing through that channel. I believe so. Because they wouldn't have come out with their agitation if they are not passing through the right channel. And I'm believing that the minister is hearing me from here. He knows that I'm the secretary to the Education Committee. He knows that I understand education. And I believe that hearing this, they are going to find solution to it. And with the cooperation of the Minister for Finance, they will definitely sit down and then carve how to solve that problem. So the teachers shouldn't worry. We will solve the problem.
Yes.
This, yet some teachers say we've not been paid. What should those teachers, how should they place what the president is saying, looking at their own real life context?
Look, anybody who has not been paid is a very angry person. I remember those days when we were doing national service. You go for 3 months without pay. I mean, you are the most angriest person in the classroom. We've been through that. And I think this problem of people not being paid is systemic. One, it comes from issue of validation in most cases, and that is because of the penchant of the system to bloat payroll. So if you don't take precaution, you tend to end up paying ghost when you're already stuck.
Okay.
But that's not an excuse. There should be a system that should be able to validate people within a short period of time. And that should enable the Ministry of Finance to make payment or to make good of that commitment. You cannot have people teaching for 11 months without pay and expect them to be happy in the classroom. That would affect performance for the students as well. So we shouldn't be thinking that, oh, the students will fail just because of lack of other things. Paying teacher salary is also very important. We shouldn't take eye from that. Yes, there are so many issues. As a president, you have so many issues to tackle. issue of students without desks, issue of schools under tree. At the same time, you have people who have not been paid.
Yeah.
So you have to juggle so many factors. But then I believe that the Minister of Finance, if he's watching and listening, I think we shouldn't be hearing some of these things going forward. There must be a proper system that would enable validation to happen in a short period of time. People can get paid, because it's not good to be working with a salary.
But I'm happy about the 2 million student dual desks that are being procured. At least if you've been to the rural areas like some of us, you will.
Yeah. I remember I was doing my national service in a village near Yendi.
Okay.
And the whole class sat on the floor.
And that's years ago.
That is years ago. And still,
yes. Last year we were reporting stories.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Really sad. 1994, my service in Yendi. Look, it was horrible. The classroom, there were 6 classroom blocks. I mean, no, 6 classrooms. And the division between the class were just line. The one big room, yes. And the lines were drawn in the classroom.
When the teacher is teaching, you can
yes, I moved from one class to the other. You just go around. We've seen it before. And I mean, it's sad now in this day and age, we're still talking about these issues how many years since. And we have to really be serious, people. We have to really be serious.
Okay. Doc, let me come to you for your thought on this, and then we can move on to talk about other matters.
To this education matter, I think there's still a lot that the people of Ghana are expecting from the government, just by me looking at the things that they promised in their social contracts in their manifesto to the people of Ghana. Not only did they promise automatic posting for teachers, I don't see how they are going to be able to do that if those they've already employed, they are having trouble validating and paying them. They promised the 20% allowance for teachers who accept rural postings. The last time I checked, that also has not been fulfilled, and I don't see any real commitments to making sure that happens. But again, when it comes to matters of education, personally, I would try and veer off the propaganda track, unlike what we were fed, because I've also heard a few people. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Clearly. I've also heard a few people, throw about.
Okay. Doc's lying. I'm sure we'll get her back, and then she can make her point. But if we, when Doc will be, Doc's line will be rectified, and then we can get to that quickly. But we'll move away from that after her point and talk about polling now.
Which is more vested in.
Yes, exactly.
So you take the lead and I follow.
Oh, yes. He would do that. So he would follow that, and then we can all, follow up on that particular one. Now, okay. Doc, your line is okay now. Make a point.
Yes, sorry. A few phone calls were coming. So as I was saying, that when it comes to what the NDC promised with regards to education and what they've delivered so far, or what we've seen a commitment towards, is nowhere near what was promised. I was mentioning a few about the automatic posting. I mean, how are you going to roll out automatic posting when those that you haven't paid them? And the 2 budgets have been read. We haven't seen any sort of provision or commitment to make sure that that policy comes, sees the light of day. We see a 20% allowance for teachers who accept rural posting, something that I think is very important. I think it happens for some health workers, but that's like a local arrangement with some of the Ghana Health Service facilities and things to try and entice people to go to the rural area. It's something that if it's institutionalized, I think would go a long way. But again, we've not seen anything about that. Then there are no fee stress. When it came out, I was one of the people that was really trying to understand. I was almost insulted that I'm just not applying myself to try and understand it. But again, if the whole idea of that whole policy is to ensure that students that come out with a good grades and want to enter tertiary education are able to do that, how then do you expect them to pre-finance the first year and then apply for a refund that may take forever to come? The whole barrier is the cost to be able to get into university. So if you are going to let them pay and then refund, I also think, again, that's another scam that was pulled over the eyes of people, of the Ghanaian people. And I'm hoping that at least the NDC has about 2 years to sort of turn things around. Because like I said, when it comes to education and health, it's sort of good to put the politicking aside and sort of hope that the system improves generally.
Mm. But let me ask you, what's your expectation of Mahama's second year in office?
Well, not much. I mean, I took an in-depth look at the 2026 budget, and looking at the headline things that he promised, I do not see... looking at the headline things that he promised, I do not see enough of a commitment to that. We're in the second year now, the 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts, it was 133 that was said. We don't see any progress with that. And I think the NDC is getting lost on them that 4 years is a very short time. So if by the end of your first year in office, a lot of the key policy initiatives that you campaigned on, we are not seeing any push of it, then we might as well raise our hands and give up now, because then I do not see how you'll be able to implement a system. We were just talking about 70,000 teachers and how they are having a hard time paying them. These are people that are already in the employment sector and you just have to find money to pay them. You're having difficulty. So how are you then going to roll out a mass 133 where at least the basics of what I was made to understand is at least all public services will run a 3-shift system? When they were saying this and going up and down the country about it, we told them that it wasn't the most practical thing. It always makes sense for demand to precede what you are going to produce. But again, we were called all manner of names. And so for me, after the first year, I do believe that when it comes to the global stability of the economy and everything, it has had a good effect on the country, together with some of the policies that are going on. So that has sort of given them a very long honeymoon. But as time goes on, the Ghanaian people are going to begin to hold them accountable for the specific promises that they made, that when you actually take a critical look at, they are not fulfilling. I've just told you about several in the education sector. If we had time, we could go over what was said in the health sector and how that has not been done. It looks like if you want to do a sector-by-sector analysis, what they promised the people of Ghana, that one is falling flat. And whenever you point it out, they'll tell you the dollar is 10 cedis. So for now, we are going to let them have it. But I'll get to a point where everybody is going to join in the chorus of where are the jobs you promised? Where's the 133?
So you don't see them do that in the second year?
Have you seen the 2026 budget? Because that will sort of guide what we can expect from them in the second year. There's not much of a commitment there. You said you were going to, I think there was even a part where they said they were going to enhance private security to, sort of complement the 24-hour economy. A year is gone. You've read your second budget. There's no provision in there for the security. And to me, that's a very crucial part of the whole program. So if that is not there in the 2026 budget, meaning we are not seeing it in 2026. There was something about electricity tariffs and time of use and all of that. Again, the 2026 budget has been read. I scrutinized it properly. I don't see anything there. So if in 2026 too, there are no plans to implement this time of use tariff for even the industries that already exist and may want to take advantage of this initiative. Again, it looks like 2026 is going to go and we are not going to see anything. So it's going to be like the scam of the one-time premium to me.
Okay.
You remember John Mahama in season 1, there was this issue of one-time premium that he was going to get the NHIA one-time premium.
I think that started from Evans Atameos, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was season 1, or the first term of His Excellency John Mahama, and it also never came to fruition. So I am hoping, I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic for them that this will not be another issue of the NHIA one-time premium with their flagship 24-hour economy policy, where they made so many songs. The songs were quite, interesting, though.
Okay, all right. Mr. Danko, before I come to Doug, let me come to you. As an ordinary Ghanaian, what's your expectation of this government in the second year, for the second year?
I would like to put the expectations of the voters out there, rather my personal expectation.
Okay.
When I expect them to create jobs.
Okay.
If you speak to voters today, economy is no longer a threat to them. Economy is no longer number one issue for them. It suggests that they are okay with the economy. The next issue is job creation. If you look at the last election, before the election, the three top issues that bother voters was the economy, number one, 2, jobs, and 3, education. It appears they are getting handle on the economy. Well, the economy is clearly in a better shape than we have seen it before. And there's stability in the educational sector, especially in the feeding of the free senior high schools. And I think that's one of the areas that was really creating a problem for the government, lack of food and the noise that comes out of that. Once we get handle of that, I think the noise is really reduced. Okay. Then we can tackle the other issues that you face with in the sector quite systematically. So on the point 1 and 3, which were the top 3 issues, they are having success in doing that. But the problem they have is job creation, which is the biggest threat. We've been told that it's a national security threat for many years. It still remains. A chunk of the youth have no job. Whatever the government needs to take to create jobs, the environment that will create jobs, they have to. There is no excuse for them. I mean, the people will be disappointed by the end of the second year if nothing happens. I can tell them for a fact. So if they have any focus that they have to, pay attention to, that should be job creation. And as to how they do it, I've been hearing them talking about mechanized agriculture and stuff. I don't care what means they use to create the jobs. The jobs must be there. They can't resolve unemployment. No, they must be seen to have made substantial improvement or gains in reducing the rate of unemployment in this country. If they don't, that will be the biggest hurdle they have to confront next election.
Okay, so those are the expectations of the electorate. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Carter.
Thank you very much.
So when you look at when you do a self-introspection, what is the expectation of you, the party, of the government?
Okay. Before you move on, I want to tell my sister, my learned colleague, Doctor, that she says that the budget has nothing to really make Mahama achieve
the 24-hour economy
and all that. Buttress to that, she knows that it is true that MPP, at the time they were in power, 1 district, 1 factory. We didn't say anything. Excuse me, hospital, we didn't see anything. It's a fact on the ground.
Look, you didn't see anything in terms of what?
In terms of the factories. When we talk about 1 district, 1 factory.
But some came up.
Came up where?
The coffee juice is one.
The coffee juice is there.
Please, hold on.
When you were asking,
okay.
You see, it is interesting when politicians, he said we are doing propaganda, but the propaganda she is doing is more than that. And I'm saying that, for me, what I see, in my constituency, Anglo constituency, we have onions, shallots produced in that area. I've never seen 1 district, 1 factory.
But did someone, because they explained that the 1 district, 1 factory was a private sector led, the government was creating the conditions for private people to establish. Did anybody from your area send a proposal to any bank to help them set up a factory like that?
Please. You see, I believe that the concept they are talking about, I understand the concept when I was in India. Okay. The concept is a very good concept. When they made mention of it, I applauded. That will create the jobs. But the fact is that it's not been done and done well. You can't take an old factory and put your some sticker on it and say that this is 1 district, 1 factory. At Kasapreku, is it 1 metropolitan, 1 factory? I mean, I don't want to go into politics that will bring argument. But let me tell you, the NDC government is so focused.
Hold on, but what if those factories applied the 1 factory secretariat for support to expand production? Because that's what how they expand.
Yeah, my brother,
I'm from a Hunter West. Grell was supported to establish 1 new factory in Jabin Chrome. And that's the explanation, that the factory itself approached the Wonder Sugar Factory Secretariat for them to help them set that up?
I've not seen it.
Okay.
So you have seen it. So you are telling me I've not seen it. Okay. So I can't believe it until I see it.
Okay.
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 Going further, he said the teacher, the budget has not talked about teachers. They have not made any provision for teachers. One, the teacher trainee allowance is 207 million cedis was allocated for that. Two, recruitment of teachers. When they did recruitment, before they left office, the recruitment that they did, there was no provision for funds to pay the teachers. The rollover we took was too huge. You see, at times, when we are in government and we are doing things and we are being criticized and we couldn't correct it, when we leave, the handing over note, I was part of the transition. Oh, the handing over note, Dr. Yao Osai Educhum, what he handed over to us, the gaps are there. You recruited abnormally. And then when you recruited, you didn't make provision for funds to pay the teachers. Last minute, you did that and put that pressure on the incoming government. Thinking that when we come, it will be a failure. It's a lie. We are finding antidote to it. And it's in the budget. You should go back into the budget and read. Okay. I don't want to go further. You asked me a question concerning Mahama's second year.
Yeah.
What would be...
But on that, let me also correct something. I said 60,000. It's 4,000, and the month ranges between 14 to 15 months.
Okay.
That have not been paid.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the correction. My brother has just come out with some analysis, and I believe in the research he's doing, because research puts out, you can tease it and find out whether it's true or not. From Ghanaians, I take trotro and move around. I go to places, I go to places, even in my village, I go to my village to find out. I do down the microeconomic level understanding, where I can understand individuals who understand what government is doing. The lay people, the people who didn't go to school like us, what they say. Like he said, we are going to continue the economic stabilization, controlling inflation, CD management, debt restructuring of outcomes will be felt by Ghanaians, and we are doing that. If you see what Atufosin is doing, Honorable Atufosin is doing, the payment of the debt they created, the ballooning debt left on us, we are clearing it. And she said we are not doing anything. Jobs and cost of living. Cost of living has reduced considerably. And one of the things that makes people feel unhappy is when the cost of living is high. These days in social media, you see some gentleman carrying rice bags and onion, fried oil, and saying that the price has reduced. Mahama, why? It's an implication of the fact that the life is becoming simple. Now, the 24-hour economy we talk about, first of all, we should know that the framework which is designed has to go through processes. A legal process, extraordinary process, and those processes have been completed. We are not doing things the way they did it. No. We are doing things to be held accountable to those things. So it's systematic.
So you said the processes have been completed. Is that what you said?
Then I'm saying that the legal process, the framework has been done. Yeah. The legal process through parliament and all that are in process, and most of them have been completed. Okay. The documents have been completed for establishment. You understand? And this second year, Ghanaians are going to see the full-fledged of the 24-hour economy. And don't forget, as an economist, I'm directly involved and indirectly involved. Okay. And I understand what my people are doing. And definitely, we will establish the 24-hour economy. Look at the processes we want to take to recruitment. It is not only in one sector, the paramilitary, the military, the police, and the rest.
All to support the 24-hour economy.
That is an addenda to support the 24-hour economy.
And from this January, the first quarter, you will see massive recruitment. And let me tell you, NDC has learned lessons from what has happened in the past and what we couldn't do. So we are moving the system according to systems. He said that if the system, the structural system are not good, the health of the economy will backslide. And the health of the economy is the structural position of the economy. When we don't do things systematically, we will not be able to get good results and be accountable to the people of Ghana. So, believe me, we are on course. And we will deliver. And we have delivered so far. And Ghanaians are seeing the deliveries. That is why the CD to dollar is also stable. We are not shaken at all. We are going to work hard and harder to make sure that the economy is really integrated in such a way that every sector of the economy that they have left the canker will solve it. They said we are incompetent, but so far, from the global analytics and other rating institutions, it is clear that we are moving, the graph is skewing positive.
So in the second year, because you're an economist and you know what's happening, what will be the defining things about the government, about John Mahama's government in year 2?
Define things, as in terms of productivity,
exactly.
Or
what can we mark this? Because in first year we've seen that inflation is down.
Yes.
Exchange rate stabilized.
Yeah.
These are things you can really say that the first year brought. Second year, what will be the things that would define the second year of John Mahama's government?
We are going to use what we call the production systems. Production in every sector. Where the production drive economy, infrastructure drive economy, backed by the infrastructure drive economy, the economy is going to sit on assets, tangible assets. And those tangible assets are things that boost make the country live in a balance, equilibrium. Then production is going to be massive. In agricultural sector, it's going to be massive. In production sector, it's going to be massive. In goods and services. And in service sector, it's going to be a drive. There's going to be more drive there. So we are not living, when we have opened the channel, you know, the investor confidence is back. And a lot of investors are coming. You can see it, they're coming. And that alone is going to create more jobs for Ghanaians, added to the 24-hour economic boom. And you can see, even DVLA is expanding all over the place. She should just relax. This year, we call it productivity year infrastructure development.
So these assets you spoke about, are they
road network?
Are they assets that are there already, or the assets that you'll be building, building this year?
I'm not saying Ghana has some assets already.
You develop on them.
We develop on them.
Okay, all right.
And I'm talking about not just developing, but we are going to do a tangible development of assets.
Okay.
And that is the infrastructure beef that the president is putting every time, hammering on. When the road sector is going, they promise road sector 1 year of road, but we have not seen tangible year of roads. When the big push issue came, they thought we are joking. I was in Ho with the president. The construction is going on day and night. Look at the Michel Camp Ho to Adobe Bridge. The process is going on. It's not that you are going to sit down. As he left the place, he is monitoring the project.
Okay.
At the presidency.
Okay.
And that is a massive drive of the economy.
To respond to a few things.
Anyway, let me give you that 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. I'll try and be very, very quick. Like you said, 1D1F, MPP, we are center right. We know what we're about. The idea was never to build factories ourselves. It was to create an enabling environment so that we could help factories through the projects. even the foreign car automobile manufacturers that came to Ghana were under the 1D1F, Ekunfi, like you said, farms, blah, blah, blah. So that's the excuse that the NDC used, that it's existing factories. If there's an existing factory and you create a framework for them to be able to expand, that is part of what the policy was about. Number two, when I said in the budget, you have not fulfilled your promises in the education sector, I was specific. So my senior learned friend, if you want to quote me, you have to be very specific. I said 20% allowance for rural areas. It is not there. You said you were going to provide teacher accommodation. It's not in the budget. Number three, you said you were going to do automatic posting. It is not there. So these are the three things that I spoke about. So if you want to quote me on that, and that was in the budget, you can show it to me or we can discuss it. On the economic issues, you are in government, is going well. So I usually don't even want to engage in that. But you and I know that even the Bank of Ghana as it is now, your national communications officer of the NDC himself was on Newsfile last week and was laying out a lot of the pillars of your economic success and linked it to the domestic gold purchase program. I don't want to go into the details of that, but I just a little free advice to the NDC. You are enjoying, it's still sort of a honeymoon for you. Some of these talking points you are using are not going to be effective going forward because you make other very tangible promises that people are going to hold you to, and the response to that cannot always be what it is that you are saying. And just to throw some things out there, yes, the dollar has come down. We are very happy and glad about that, and we are hoping that we continue to see that stability. But you also have to make sure that you are doing it in a way that it actually affects cost of goods. I also you use a scenario, so I'm also going to use one that I think will be very relatable. Just last year, if you were traveling to Kumasi by road, I think the bus was about 100 cedis or so. Now it's 120. So again, how are you going to explain that? To be able to offset all of that, you would have to actually provide jobs. And again, to your 24-hour economy, I'm going to quote you. I'm keeping the video of what happened today because I'm going to wait at the end of the year and see what progress you've had. And my dear friend, Dr. Carter, I'll play your voice back to you. Because you said you were going to use private
play
security.
it positively. You will not play it negatively.
Yes, I'm really hoping that it will be played positively, but I'm not holding my breath because just like I said, I have studied your budget keenly and the things you promise in your policy documents are not even reflected there. So again, I am hoping that I'll play it positively so that it doesn't become, a banter, but I am very sure that it's not going to be so.
Doc, grateful. Let me come in studio and bring in the poster. And this work, you compared the MPP presidential hopefuls against top 4 in the NDC. What was the criteria?
No, there's no criteria. For the NDC, we use the top 4 candidates.
How do you arrive at that?
So you have people who were scoring at least 10% of the popular vote.
Okay.
Were shortlisted as the top 4. And that shortlist would change over time because even of making the top 10% will drop you. So that's what we did. And for the NPP, the same thing. If you're not making top 10%, we're not going to take you as a head-to-head. That's the basis and criteria for selecting. It's more objective. You can't argue about it.
But is this new?
No.
Or this is not new?
It's not new. We've done that since 2022.
No, I mean the recent one that we've been...
No, it's quite new. It's for the December.
It's for December 2025?
Yes.
Not September 2025?
No, December 2025.
Okay. All right. So take us through. Let's see.
Look, I'm glad you've given me this opportunity to look at those data. We did head-to-head comparing the top 4 NDC candidates. At the time, they were Asirin Ketia, Julius Deborah, Haruna Idrisu, and Atufosi. And we asked voters if the 2028 elections were between these candidates and face-to-face with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as MPP candidate, who would they vote for?
This is for the December one?
For the December one. And then we said, assuming MPP elects Kennedy Japan, and he comes face-to-face with these NDC frontrunners, who would you vote for? So if you start with the NDC candidate against Bawumia, so first one is Honorable Haruna Idrisu against Bawumia. the poll shows that Haruna Iddrisu will secure 56% of the vote. Bawumia will get 40%. And 4% said they will vote for somebody else. Then you say, what if it is Atuforsen that the NDC elects against Bawumia? Then Atuforsen goes to 58%, and Bawumia goes to 38%. Again, 4% said they'll vote for somebody else. And then you slot in Asedu Nketia against Bawumia. Then Asedu Nketia goes to 53%, Bawumia 43%. Again, 4% someone else. But if you slot in Julius Deborah against Bawumia, Deborah goes to 50%, Bawumia 46%, 4% again, someone else. But if you flip the coin and say, assuming MPP elects Kennedy, how would you vote? Haruna Iddrisu against Kennedy. Haruna goes to 61%. 61%. And Ken goes to 34%, or on 34%. If you bring in Atuforsen against Kennedy, Atuforsen goes to 62%. Against Ken, 34%. If you bring in Asedu Nketia, he goes to 57%. Ken goes to 38%. And then if you bring in Julius Deborah, he goes on 53% and Ken 41%. So this is the scenario that we have run in the December polling that we just released.
Which means that in all of it, Bawumia is doing better.
Yes, that's the data at the moment. He's doing better than Ken.
But he's still being beaten.
Yes.
By any of this. But then the question will be, what are the respondents, or what did the respondent consider to let them decide that?
It's for them to go and find out. The pollster should not be asked to go and do everything for them.
Okay.
You should, as a research, we do polling, opinion research. For those who want to find the reason why, it's not the work of the pollster to find
But you don't ask why you're voting for this person. You only say, who will you vote for?
That's it. But we haven't got the time to sit there for 30 minutes to ask you why. Because if you pay us to go and find out why, we'll spend time with the voter and comprehensively assess why he made that decision. We're not there to find out why. And that's why some of them think that our work is not useful. Of course, it's not useful for them because that's not what we are there for. Okay. So people will choose what they want to choose based on factors. Look, you can triangulate. You can find out what were their responses when it comes to direction of the country. People who said right direction, who were they voting for? Those who say wrong direction, who are they voting for? You can use cross-tabulation to see what could have influenced them to make the choices they are making. So there are ways we could do that, but it's not for us to do that for the politicians. Okay. But the fact is that, look, the political environment is very, very hostile at the moment to the MPP.
Yeah, is that not influenced by the fact that they just left office, people were angry, and that the 1 year of Mahama has been
That is why it is opinion poll. If it is held today, who would you vote for? What's the question?
Okay.
Not who would you vote for in 2028.
So it means that it could change.
Of course it will change. We've done that since 2022, and we've seen numbers go up and down until we got to the elections time. So the track record of us taking that data is there. We did Alan versus Mahama, Bawumia versus Mahama, and Ken versus Mahama over time. So that data is there for us to reference to.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. This is not your game, right? So let me go to Ekua.
Which game? It's not my game. You think I'm not a politician?
Oh no, you are. But this is with Ekua's candidate and their contender against your people. So
no problem.
Ekua,
we are solid.
I'm not sure this was something you were expecting to hear, right?
No. Actually, so I have been through, I cannot even lie, I am an avid consumer of data. So I have read through it. I've been following the polls, all of them, with Global Info Analytics, all the other ones that come out, except the one that I came out to disclaim, because after going through that one, I could tell that was a very short job. Anyway, that's an aside. So yeah, I'm not quite surprised, because that's exactly what the poll said, if we are going by that. But to me, as Musa said, if I want more information, we would have to commission him to do some work to understand what is going on and what is influencing these factors. But to me, I think as the party, as MPP, it is very, very important that we make selfless decisions going into this election. We have only a few days to the election, January 31st. It is very important that we begin to put the party first and what will be best for the party. I have noticed with almost disgust the level of tribal incision that is coming from certain camps. Some of the videos I see, they are almost too vile to even speak about. And I do believe that that is not good for the image of the party going forward. We are a nation of very diverse people. There are people from all across the region. So if one candidate wants to run their campaign on an almost us versus them narrative, what are you going to do with the people that you are sort of preaching to exclude after you get the nod? Do you expect to be able to win the election without their inputs? That is almost impossible. The country is very diverse, and you sort of need the buy-in of various groups to be able to carry the day. So I do believe that the delegates of the MPP are watching everything keenly. And as I always say, I believe they are going to make the best decision come December 31st. I was speaking to one of your other colleagues on Joy recently, and I said that to any MPP member, just watching Newsfile and watching the National Communication Director of the NDC speak about a policy that somebody was able to institute as vice president, when we know that is not really characteristic of the position of vice president, by no fault of whoever holds that office. It's just the way things are structured. For somebody to be able to have something that was so useful to the country that the NDC propagandist in chief found a reason to continue it. And even when they were under fire, they thought the best thing to do was, come clean and, explain the origins of the policy, even though it was going to sort of give credit to their opponent. If you have this key asset, a national asset, somebody you have already marketed, why would you put that person aside for somebody that has run their campaign on very tribal and religious lines, a campaign of exclusion that is going to pose a problem for the party moving forward if you present this candidate to go to the other side? Why? There's no there's almost no logical reason for that switch. And so on that basis, I'm very, very confident that the delegates of the MPP will make the right choice. And as at that point, we can then, begin to put our affairs in order, our house in order, so that we can put up an effective competition come 2028. Because as has been said on your set, the polling is as of today, and we just lost an election. So we cannot expect that in less than a year, public sentiment massively switched our side. But it's quite clear that even for the people of Ghana who are not on our side, they would prefer His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia over the other candidates. So I don't think there's any question left for MPP delegates. Okay, all right.
Dr. Ekua, I'm grateful. Dr. Kanta, we don't have time. Let me leave you out of this. You still want to have a bite? Okay, let me give you 30 seconds.
No, but it's challenging for MPP at this moment because of the defeat, and they need to restructure. Because,
you've been there before, eh?
Yes. Let me tell you something. This win we have, we are not just in a honeymoon. We are working to improve and get to where Ghanaians want us to get to. We are a socialist party. We want Ghanaians to appreciate good governance. We want them to appreciate transparency, and we want them to appreciate accountability. Now, MPP, the advice I want to give you is that as it is now, we are going to have a tough play when we go into the general election.
Okay.
So they should do their homework well.
Okay.
I said it on so many platforms that the preparation they are doing, they should do it well.
Okay.
Because the game, grand finale, 2028, that one is not going to be a return match. It is going to be Sasela grand finale.
All right.
We're going to play it. And that grand finale, they are going to experience a different candidate on our ticket.
Okay.
But we're going to, you see, that is the reason why I'm saying the tangibility of the economy, it depends on the infrastructure and productivity of this country, leading to employment of the youth, where they will go into election, you realize that the youth are just voting and voting and voting.
So on that tangibility,
and you have to deliver your 133 first.
On that,
of course, we will do it.
On that tangibility, let me wrap up my show.
But again, give me a second. Solemnly, I want to comrade Mahama Traore Nasser, who we lost. Please, may his soul rest in peace.
Okay.
And also George Nash, who is one of our communicators, who is sick. We are praying for God to heal him, let him be on his feet, so that the work we started, we can complete it. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm grateful. And let me say good morning to you, my friend Moses Enimel. You are with the Takwa MTTD. You are watching us at this moment. So to all of you at the Takwa police station, good morning to you. How is the Golden City doing? And also my brother Edmond Bright in Agunan Kwanta. Today is your birthday, Eddie. Last year, party it was heavy. You say, mainti, Yamungram Wakraya Bahone, near a Zerkamova Danbayuno, na Ira Ijila, Iyokizre, na Moro boy, Yorobo Sunokukra, the Blamwezi Wahonozo, Osahain, na Wardro, like wow, now I won't cry, Mobai. I order Baba Bay to you, Edmond Bright of Agunanga Dam Dem Dikan said why Kwambrosia na Kelefu Bedi na Nkwari ya ne Avrame na Mavobede di Mamadwazro. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay.